Okay, it looks like I had the loop button pressed on my intro. I'm like, Anyway, hey everybody, Happy New Year to all y'all. I hope y'all are doing well. Give me a half a second just to verify my sound. Let me know if everything is coming through clear. Let me unmute this for a second. All right, sound is sounding good. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I hope y'all are having a great day so far. Happy New Year to all of y'all. If I didn't get a chance to respond back to y'all here, thank you so much. Making sure we got everything up and running. Want to give a shout out to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members. Thank y'all so much. And just y'all folks that always come here and listen to me babble. Thank y'all so much. I'm glad y'all are safe and sound and all this other fun stuff. Yeah, man, I'm going to try and stay on point. A lot of stuff obviously has been happening. All I will say is this: make sure if y'all ain't in the United States, keep us lifted up in prayer, everything. Because like I say, just with us, with media ministry, we are all the same. We all. No point in, we've been tricked into thinking that we're all different, but we are all the same. I'll leave that alone. That's as much as you're going to hear me talk about. Let's see. Thank y'all again so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button and share this. We do this every Friday. I am resurrecting the church post-production as well too. So on Sunday afternoons after church, I will be live streaming how I edit all my stuff and teach y'all a little DaVinci Resolve and Practical app all at the same time. All the other folks that are popping in here, hey Jamie, Geneve, everybody, Francisco, Locke, Mike, Raul, Video Systems, everybody, thank y'all so much for thinking of me and wanting to drop here. Hopefully I can give y'all something that will make y'all's media ministry move forward just a little bit more. I've been playing around with my sound, so hopefully everything should be fine. Let me unmute myself a half a second. Video Systems, everybody, thank y'all so much. All right, so I look like I was a little bit too close, so I got to make sure I don't get too excited. But we got a question at the very beginning. We're going to go ahead and jump over into that, if I can find it here. That is by Samuel Harris. And I need to bring my NDI because I can't read this on this screen, and I don't want to be turning over here. Give me a second to bring that up so I can actually see what I'm talking about. Come on now. There we go. All right. We are trying to live stream outside service. Would it be best to buy a hotspot for internet? Our parking lot is across the street, and dollar think I can run an Ethernet that won't be damaged. Got a couple of options for that. Yes, a hotspot could work. Now, let me show y'all something. This is a project that I haven't had a chance to do, but I am looking forward to doing this. Let's go ahead and cut over to the computer here. This is my church layout here. So here's our church, and this building right here is our annex. So we're right across the street. I want to send internet to there, and that was something I haven't had a chance to do, but there are a couple of things you could do. Could we run a cable over there? Yeah, we could. Could we put a hotspot over there similar to what Samuel was trying to do? Yeah, you could. So either one of those will work. It also depends on how many people you want to have over there. In my situation, I want to have internet for anybody that's over there when they do meetings and stuff like that. The trustees meet over there sometimes, deacons. You could do that outside. Just make sure if you're doing a hotspot, make sure it's only for your computers, because I doubt the hotspot is going to be able to support uploading for live streaming as well as having anybody else on there. Now, me personally, in my scenario, this is what I would like to try. going over to our friends over here at Ubiquity, and I actually think I have it here. These are some nano stations, and what this is going to be, it's going to be 2 of them, and you run the internet up to one of them in your main location. So for me, I would have our internet here and place it right on the outside of the building. Runs it up. It is weatherproof and all this other stuff, so it can sit outside. And this will beam the internet over to another one that's set up as a receiver. And these are rated, what's the distance on these? I mean, it's rated for quite a ways. And you can get, I mean, at that distance, at least for us, I know I checked it out, that will work for us. They have other more high, farther distance ones that you can do. I've seen people put their houses in the valley and their office is on the mountain, and they've beamed it for like 2 miles, 5-mile distance. You could check something like that. And then these are going for like, what was that, like $50 each? So get 2 of them, $100. Now you could try something like that, or a hotspot. The difference with these, you buy them once, and as long as your internet that's in your main building is sufficient, you should be good to go. It's not that significant of a drop. You can't encrypt the signal, all this other stuff like that. So they only talk to one another. That's what I would do and looking to do at my church. But again, I would check that out. But yes, go back to your original suggestion. Yes, the hotspot could work. Just make sure that it can support the upload. I believe I saw Otis there from Texas, or anybody else from Texas. Hello, hello. So Samuel, let me know if that works for you. Clarence, hello. Schaefer's, hello. I need to get back up there. Let me know, Schaefer's, how's everything going up there with your church? How's that remodel and everything going? Let's cut over here. Video Systems, Austin, Texas. Hello. I'm ready for y'all's questions. Go ahead and drop them in the comments, and we'll get to them one at a time. From the Caribbean, from St. Kitts, I've been there. Awesome place. Beautiful, beautiful. Can't wait for all this stuff to go away so I can get back to doing my yearly cruises. Monty, hello. Right Raider, hello. Let's go to Anthony here. His question is, how would I connect 2 additional cameras, no PTZ I'm assuming, at 100 feet away from my streaming system? Now, Anthony, I would ask how, I mean, honestly, the easiest thing is go over, convert it. I don't know what type of cameras, but convert them to SDI, run them in that direction. You could use some wireless HDMI, but it depends on what you're going to use them for. Are you going to be using, wait for somebody to drive by, are you going to use them to where it's going to be zoomed in on the face to where it has to sync with the audio? Or is it kind of like a wide shot or something like that? I always would go with the wire because then you don't have to worry about latency as much. It all depends. Need some more, ooh, excuse me, some details about that. I knew I forgot something. I forgot to get my cup of water for me to have right here in front of me. Kyle from Toronto, Canada, hello. I haven't been up to Toronto since I was 13, so it's been almost 30 years since I've been up there. Let's see this question here. I'm having trouble uploading our video to Vimeo. It won't upload. What error does it give you? And also, it depends. What is your account for Vimeo? Is it the full one that has restrictions? Because I know at our church we have like the right above the free one, and we're only allowed to upload but so much a week. So normally I would upload every Sunday, and then it wouldn't be a problem. I wouldn't upload through the week. But I need some. They should give you some more details on what's the issue, on what your uploading is. If you can let me know that. All right, our next question here is, what are the pros and cons of getting an ATEM Mini versus a separate computer just for streaming, seeing that the ATEM handles a lot of the load and is way cheaper? I think the thing is, I like the Decklink Mini recorders for capture cards. They go for $150 to $195. When you look at the ATEM, well, with the Decklink or with the Elgato CamLink, the HD60S, all of those are capture devices that do the exact same thing, but they only allow one camera to come in. And at almost $200, you get an ATEM Mini, you are opening yourself up to a whole bunch of other functions, and you can connect up to 4 cameras. Even if you're only using one, you can do that in the future. Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, $200 to bring in one camera, or I throw another $95, and now I can capture 4 cameras. It's an investment for me in the future. Now, when I started off, I still, like right now, my computer over here is handling the live stream, just because of all the softwares, the intricacies of how I run this stream with putting up chat and all this other stuff like that, that natively the ATEM or most switchers I know of don't do that. You need something separately. I think the advantage of it is for the ATEM is for cost, for future growth, because if you started getting 4 cam links, and honestly, I like the Elgatos, but when you start adding multiple Elgato capture cards, the software trips on itself, to be quite honest, because I don't think a lot of those folks that were using this really set it up for it to handle multiple iterations of that device. The ATEM Mini allows you to do this, and I do a hybrid of that. Like I said, I'm using the Pro ISO right now that can live stream, but I'm using the computer to do it, just because the computer can do more things than that. But when I'm on the go, yes, I don't take a computer with me. Well, excuse me, I do take one with me, but it's not meant to live stream. I let all the heavy lifting go on the ATEM Pro and higher, because it doesn't have to bounce with, oh, does the GPU handle the encoding? Can it it's built for that purpose, and it doesn't have to do anything except for encoding, which makes it very efficient. That's just my opinion. Let me know. I know it's a ton of y'all here in the group that actually on the chat that actually use the ATEM. Drop your thoughts down as well too. Am I just rambling like a madman? But love to get y'all's input on that as well too. Pastor Alicia, good morning. Let's see. Mount Moriah Holiness Church. How can you tell if a camera has clean HDMI? This is for use with my stream. Honestly, it should. It's kind of dangerous to say this, but any camera that's probably been in the last 2 years should have some form of clean HDMI out. It should. Now, most of the time when you look at a camera, it should say it in the description, or honestly, just research it, pull the manual up before you buy it, and then see if that's an option. It should call that out specifically in the manual. But do you have any particular camera that you are looking at? Let me know, and we can walk through maybe on the manufacturer to see if we can find that information. What Canon camera do you recommend? Are you talking about camcorder or DSLR or mirrorless? Holy Gab, hello from Quebec, Canada. Bonjour. Are you a French-speaking francophone? Are you speaking in French, or is it English? Let me know. I'm just trying to practice my French. I'm very bad at it, but let me know. We are going down a severe new lockdown with curfew for January, so no one in person. Ah, man, that stinks. But it's good to be safe. Thanks for tutorials. I'm setting up things for streaming and worship. I'm glad they are helping. And here's an answer from the Chuck Taylor. Always some good suggestions. Airy Stone makes Wi-Fi internet solutions for farms. We actually bought one for their range extenders to cover our full parking lot when COVID hit. Awesome. Let me see if I can. look that up. Here we go. Let's check this out. Okay, so it's like a mesh that can cover that range too. Awesome. I know like Ubiquiti makes something like that as well too. And I'm only sticking with Ubiquiti because that is the type of gear that's already in our church, so it would integrate easily. But if you don't have anything like that, I think this would be a good suggestion as well. Thank you there, sir. And you can have it powered off of solar. Yeah. Awesome. So y'all check that out. I will put a link to that here in the comments so y'all can check that out. Thank you there, sir. Let's see what else we got out here. All right, back to the Vimeo issue of uploading. It says you have the right account. It's just saying still uploading. Since last night. Now, I know I have a church in the Bahamas that uploads to me, and they have some issues as well too, but that's normally on their ISP side. Try and see if you can upload that from a different location to see if you get the same thing, because if you do, if you have the right account, there are SLAs with Vimeo that they have to respond back. Maybe it's something going on. I haven't uploaded anything recently, so I can't really say whether I'm having a problem and confirm with that, at least on my side. But I would try that from another location, hopefully a different ISP, just to see. From Blessings here would like to know, would you recommend an LED screen or a projector for church presentations? Honestly, I like the LED screens, but that depends on your budget. I remember talking to a guy, Sven, or I forgot the guy's name, but I met him on Facebook, and he actually runs an integrations company. And when I asked him about the same thing, he was saying it depends on your budget. This was a couple of years ago, but he was saying that if you want to do a LED screen, like a wall, a digital wall, he was like, if your budget isn't at least $250,000 per screen, leave it alone. Now, I don't know if you're trying to do something like that. We're actually at our church finally looking at updating to some laser projectors, and we have some good Sony and Panasonic's 1080p at 5,500 lumens, which is more than bright enough in our sanctuary. This goes for $2,400 each. It all depends on your budget, as well as the distance that you can get, because you can actually probably get a cheaper projector if you can control the lighting coming into the building, and you can get closer to the wall without a lot of light interfering with it. It all depends. But if budget wasn't an option, oh yes, I would go with an LED screen all day long. Sam Simeon was asking, we have two options, HDMI and SDI, your selection. SDI, but make sure that SDI actually supports that resolution. I have a monitor at church that has a SDI connection, but it doesn't support 1080p. Just make sure. But if they do support the same thing, SDI all day long. Back to Anthony. He was saying that it would be a wide shot for our sanctuary that would show our congregation and another camera near our baptismal pool. Okay, so, but I would think for the wide shot, it wouldn't be an issue because you're probably looking at the back of people's heads and there's no zoom in, so you wouldn't really have to sync it that well. It all depends on how actual far away it is. Like the static camera that we have in the back is so far away that you're not going to be able to see somebody's mouth moving, so it's fine for right now. Now for a baptismal, you might want to be careful with that because that one is probably going to be close enough to see people mouth moving and then sync up. I would say just try it anyway with maybe these wireless adapters. Ori makes one that's going like for $125. That could work. I would say test it out. For me, anytime, as much as all of us who are always into video and we see it more, like I can tell the difference between the quality of a camera. Most people wouldn't unless you're seeing it all the time. When you start hearing your congregation complain about it, now you know you got to do something about it. And we noticed that when I added all these jumps and the audio was out of sync with the picture. That's why I had to change what we did in our sanctuary, because people came to me saying, why does it look off? Then you know you got to change something. Awesome. Well, let's practice a little bit. Je m'appelle Arthur, et toi? I know I'm rough. I had 4 years of high school French, and it's very little stuff that I can talk about, but hey, awesome. Back to blessings here. Is it necessary to have a TV screen facing the people on stage to notify them about lyrics and a clock? No, it's not. But most of the time, I've said this so many times before, as you get into media ministry, we start with, we're going to put a camera in the back. And the further you go down the rabbit hole, you realize just how much it is. Like, we put up, it happened at my church. We were like, we're just going to put lyrics on the front in the scripture. Then it was like, hey, all of a sudden we start thinking about other stuff. Hey, can we put it on the back? Can we put notes? Can we put a timer on the back that nobody can see? It opens up the door. So it most likely will help. But honestly, especially a lot of us, it's hard to convince people to get stuff that we need in the church. But when they make the suggestion for it, it kind of works faster. So is it required? No. Is it nice to have? Yes. Until people specifically ask for it, then now it's a requirement. Blessings asking also, like DSLR. I'm not a DSLR aficionado, so I would turn that over to everybody else in the group. The only DSLR I have is a Nikon 5300. I do like the Canons because their autofocus is awesome. The ADD is one that a lot of people talk about, but again, I don't use them, so it's kind of hard for me to give a recommendation. I would say check out Brady Shear. He talks about those cameras a lot, especially from a church standpoint. He'll probably give you a better direction I do, because I would just be stabbing at the dark since I don't use those, so I can't really help you with that one. Mark saying, good morning. We finally got the Epiphan Pearl Mini and a new Canon Vixia G50. The Pearl is great. Yeah, I was actually looking at that maybe when we were actually starting to do our stuff at our church before I knew anything about black magic. I was really looking at the Epiphan. I really liked it. And the G50 is awesome. I know I had a long video where I was trying to switch over our stuff to 1080p at my church, and the G20 can only support 1080p at 24 and 30 frames a second. If I can convince some people to give me some more cash, I would like to switch over to the G50s, but to be quite honest, I'm more interested in trying to switch over to PTZs at our church, true PTZs, and not the DIY ones that we had to do. Tamika Craig, is that the Tamika Craig that I know, that I went to church with? Is that her? Thank you for the super chat. Hey, well, thank you. Really, really appreciate it. Back to blessings here. Whoever has problems with video upload speed, I think you should use software called Handbrake to encode your video. Yeah, I've used that as well too. Handbrake can shrink it, make it into a smaller file. Let's see. Daniel here. Hey AJ, how do you connect audio OBS to Zoom? Please do a tutorial on it, please, because most of the times I'm confused in trying it. Yeah, Daniel, I actually have done something like this before, and let me see if I have it all installed on my system here. I know I have it on my Ryzen Tosh, but that's off. And let me kill the audio that y'all might have heard just now. I actually did do a video on this, but let me just verify something real quick. Well, let me just cut over here so y'all can see. So here's OBS on here, and to send the audio, now make sure OBS has a new update 26.11 that they actually supposedly fixed the issue with the Black Magic capture cards, because I actually don't even use OBS on the system anymore because for whatever reason, my deck link does not work in OBS, but obviously it does work because that's what y'all are seeing right now through vMix. So there's something going on with the update, and that update just came out. But anyway, since version 26, we have the virtual camera, which will send over everything as if it's a webcam to whatever software, Zoom or whatever. It does not have a way to send your audio over. So what I like is VB audio cable. And I don't want to, I'm attempt installing it right now because I don't want to knock out what I'm doing right now. But what that would happen is it will install and it will put everything here. Now the idea is what you want to do is come in here for every audio device that you have that you want to send audio, because you're capturing all of your video in OBS, sending it to Zoom through the virtual camera. You need to do the same thing with your audio. So you need to come over here to settings, and I do have a video for this. You would come over to settings, do audio first, and for your monitoring device, you would want to pick the VB audio cable once it's installed. There are multiple other programs that do this as well. I like the VB audio cable one. You would pick that for monitoring. Then for every source coming into OBS that needs to have sound, you would come in, so I would say this background one, come in here to the gear, go to advanced, and you would want to do monitor and output. So that's going to happen is the output is going to your stream, but your monitor is now going to be using the setting that was put here on your output, which is the VB audio cable. And then when you come into, and I'll start this because it's not going to really do anything. If I start up Zoom and I bring this over here, see I got a live stream. If we go into our settings, we're going to go to our audio, and what we would pick is the VB audio cable, which would be the mic, which is going to capture everything from OBS and send it. So in Zoom, you would say use the OBS video camera, and then for your audio, it would be the VB audio cable output, because all of the audio going into OBS that you checked at advanced and set it to monitor and output would send the audio to the VB audio cable, and the VB audio cable would out to the mic in Zoom. That's how you would do that. And when I have some time, I'll tag the description with the link to that video that I was talking about. So hopefully that answers your question. Smith Simeon was asking that he finally found a USB 3 to HDMI converters on AliExpress. Is that possible to do video output over USB 3? Yeah, it's more than fast enough. I don't know exactly which one that you're using, but yes, the speed is not an issue. USB 3 is more than fast enough to handle that. Miss C Productions, hello. How is all? I think you won one of our giveaways. Let me know, how's everything working? Back to Daniel. Daniel wants to know, please tell of a good application to communicate with worshipers, like a poll option while the service. Please. Worship Extreme. Worship Extreme has a poll feature built in. I don't know if it's behind the paywall level of it, but Worship Extreme does have a poll that you can display and then communicate back and forth. But then a lot of the platforms have it built in. Facebook has one. YouTube used to have one. I don't think YouTube has it anymore. No, it doesn't have it anymore. Vimeo has it. But if you need an application, I know Worship Extreme does it, but you might have to, honestly, I like Worship Extreme as a la carte. You can pay it just for 1 month and get the features out of it, and then just upgrade to it when you need that function, because it doesn't lock you into a contract or something like that for a year. Peter, AJ, did you get to the bottom of the strain PC issue yesterday? Why did they open it and use the wrong screws? Not really sure. Actually, let me take that back. When I communicated with them, he was saying that one of the parishioners accidentally kicked the computer and broke the glass, and he replaced the glass. So I think it was like the screws were changed just because maybe when they were replacing the glass, the screws flew out somewhere or something like that. And I think really it was that just the memory trying to diagnose what was going on. Maybe when that glass came in, it knocked something loose and the memory just wasn't set right. That's what I really think. And right after this, I got to zip it up and then send it back to them. But yeah, that's the only thing I could think. But thanks for asking. And thanks for watching the video about that. Leola here, hello. Our church is in the process of having a system installed for streaming using the ATEM switcher. What questions, issues should we look for using the switcher for the first time? Well, first, Leola, I would ask what type of switcher are you getting? If you're getting an ATEM television studio HD, similar to what like I have in my church, the big version, not the like the ATEM minis that I have over here. If it's a bigger one, you need to make sure that whatever cameras that they're connecting, that they all support the same resolution and frame rate, as well as anything that's connected to it. That is the downside of the older switchers. They all have to support the exact same thing. You can't put in something to 720p, then, or like in my issue, 1080p, 30 frames a second, but then everything else is at 1080p, 60. That won't work. All of them have to be exactly the same. Also, I would ask if, besides knowing what type of switch you have, if you're using some of those older ones, they don't have encoding built in. So you need a computer that can live stream it. What type of capture device are you using? Make sure that the system that's going with it to live stream is capable. I've dealt with way too many churches that go to these companies that are just trying to sell some stuff and they don't know jack squat about live streaming, and they're sending them a computer. I had one church paid like $8,000 for 2 PTZs, an ATEM mini, and I mean an ATEM switcher, the big one. And these geniuses paired it with a MacBook Air to live stream. And I'm like, no, that it is not capable of doing that. That's the first thing I would say, is just check those things out. Get the specs of the system, and then also find out what exact switcher are you using, and what type of cameras go with that as well. That's what I would ask. But thank you. Into CFM. God bless you, sir. You have been a huge help and blessing to our ministry. I have one question. Well, first, thank you. I'm glad the stuff I'm doing here is helping y'all. The PC that we built from scratch has been shutting down unexpectedly. We can't open OBS or Zoom at the same time. Okay, I need some of the specs on your system to know what that is. If it shuts down unexpectedly, it could be multiple things. My computer does that. Even though I have a beast of a system, it doesn't shut down. It shuts down the graphics card because I'm throwing too much at it. So I'm video editing in DaVinci Resolve, and I'll have Photoshop and After Effects, and After Effects is horrible with memory. It won't let it go, so it eats up so much memory that the GPU can't function, and it shuts off all my displays. The computer is actually still running, but I just can't see anything. I need to know the specs of your system to get a little bit more detail, but I'm thinking if it's hard shutting down, it might be some software that's causing an issue, or it might be a limitations of the specs on your system that is choking, and it's just crashing. The kernel might crash in Windows or something like that. I don't know. The man has entered the building. Hello, hello. I am doing great. My pastor, his pastor, has finally moved to a second and third camera phase. Thank God. What second and third camera angles do you prefer, low to medium in? Well, it all depends on the distance. And from a third camera angle, I like one in the back. Obviously, they can get everything. My second one is to have a camera in the front to look at parishioners, which, I mean, right now is really not that much of an option right now, because not a lot of us have people coming back. in the sanctuary, but I would do that, or have one that's trained on your choir, praise team, musicians, something like that. And then if you had a fourth camera, I would throw that kind of like what Anthony is talking about. That's another one I want to do, is one that's focused directly for the baptismal. That would be nice as well. So yay, that is Tamika. Yay, hi. We all went to church together and stuff like that, so that's awesome. All right, so back to the man, the Canon AX11, which is a great camera, which actually is the professional version of the G20s that we have at our church. So yeah, I would think it all depends on the distance as well. I mean, you can try out some of the AJay Imaging's ones, like the HD 100A, like I used to have. This over in this drawer over here. It depends. Do you need control of the camera? Do you need it to zoom in, kind of like what Anthony is saying? Is it just a wide shot, just for an angle, just to get to mix it up a little bit, or do you want the same control that the XA11 gives you? Back to Smith here. Do you know of an audio plug-in for vMix? It should. vMix actually has that built in. I don't know exactly where it is, but I know it is because I really don't dabble with it like in that. But the fact that you ask makes me now have to go check that out. So I don't know off the top of my head. Brinson here. What type of SDI cable you use? The Ethernet cables would be bad for our setup since we will install more Ethernet for our internet and personas. Honestly, now that I'm more confident in my termination of SDI cables like I used to do in the Marines and stuff like that, I really get RG6 from Lowe's, and I get like spools of it, dual shielded or quad shielded cable, and I just terminate it that way. Make sure it supports 75 ohms and all this other fun stuff like that. But like from a home box store or from Amazon, something like that will work. So I've gotten this type of cable is what I've been recently using and installing for my stuff. And I have not had any issues with it at all. Like I said, just make sure it supports the ohmage, which is 75 ohms. And things like that. You can find more details, but it's mainly RG6. And yeah, I used to buy the professionally made cables, but after, like I said, being confident in me doing them multiple times, I always tried it with my own stuff first, then started doing it with my church. Those cables have been working for over a year without any issue at all, and I've been installing them at other places. Because I know this because when I did the install at 5th Street, they had another company come in and do the wiring, and guess what? They were using that exact same cable. So if they were professional cable pullers that they do this for commercial stuff, it must be good. So I dabbled with it, and it worked. So that's what I would suggest. Thank y'all so much for the compliments, and I'm glad, like I said, you are welcome. I'm glad that the videos have helped. Just want to share as much as I can. And yeah, Miss C won the AJay Imaging HD 100A, and she says she's loving it. Awesome. Glad you're doing it. You're liking it. What is the best platform to do multi-stream for free or one-time payment? It's not a one-time payment, but it also depends on where you're streaming to. I've been using Restream for over 6 years, and I've never paid them a dime because all the platforms I'm going to are supported with them for free. Now, Restream did have a deal a long time ago, actually early last year, where right when COVID hit, that it was like they had a limit of 2,000 licenses. It was a one-time $40 payment, and it was free, unrestricted, a premium account for life, and it was a one-time payment. I hope they come up with something like that again. But yeah. I'm seeing a comment here, and I'm trying to gather myself before I can even respond to that, because I'm like, whew. So I'm gonna get to it. I'm talking about you, Leola. So I'm gonna wait till I get there. Thanks, AJ, for explaining and spending time on my chat. I'm highly blessed and highly favored by you. Thank you. Hey, God, you're highly favored by God, but I'm thankful that He's allowing me to be a vessel to help you in some way, shape, or form. That's what we're all about, and I'm glad to help. All right, so Leola is saying that the budget is for the whole thing is $10,000. Please let me know what is going on with that, your setup. Yeah, I mean, again, y'all know I'm a preacher's kid. I've been in church my whole life. Got a computer science degree from Hampton University. Was communications technician in the Marines. Did soldering, working on radios and all this other stuff like that. And my whole mission is I do not like the fact that most of the time churches, there's not a lot of us technical ones. At least the people who are making the decisions are just trusting a lot of this stuff. And I've seen, unfortunately, way too many churches getting conned into paying for a whole lot of stuff they don't need. So, Yola, when you get a chance, please hit me up and send me an email at questions@ajhomes.com, and so we can at least look through what you got and try and give you some, some help in that direction. Hopefully, I'm truly believing that y'all have not been conned in any way, shape, or form, but that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. Brayson here is saying, paid $1,000 for a streaming laptop. I feel like we made a mistake and went with a PC. Would $1,000 be good enough for one of your bills? Oh, beyond. My system with shipping is $1,075. $75 for shipping. So that's more than enough for that. Yeah, again, I'm not against laptops. I'm just about, if we're going to spend this money on our equipment, I like PCs for this very same reason of this other PC that's over here. We built it, and if something happens, we can go to Best Buy, Amazon, Newegg, whatever, and get a replacement piece. Laptops, you can't do that anymore. You used to be able to open it up, put a new hard drive in it, put new memory, and now all that stuff is closed off. So if you need to do something else, you got to buy a completely new laptop, and just the technology changes so fast. So let's play around here real quick, people. And I don't hold back, and I tell y'all exactly what I do in the system, so that, and I show you to where, like, yeah, you can buy one from me, but I really encourage y'all to step out and try and build it yourself. But again, I'm here to help if you need something like that. So let me come over here to a system builder, and let's start new, and let's go through some parts. Now, a lot of parts are hard to get. Even in the most recent system that I'm doing, I had to not do the 3200G because they've marked it up to high heaven for no reason. So if we come over here, and so let's look up the 3200G right now. See, this is going for $179. That's crazy. Never buy that. Regular price is $99. But if I go with the 3600, see, you're paying $20 more. Yes, you need a GPU, but this is, you're going from a 4-core processor, 4 threads, to a 6-core and 12. More than fast enough. So you don't even really need a GPU to handle that. So we would do that. It comes with a cooler. You don't need that. We can go with a B550 motherboard, and I'll do my Gigabyte one because that's the one I've been using that I trust, the DS3H, and that's the latest. That we're going to go with some G-Skill memory. Let me get G-Skill. And these are the ones I use, 2 sticks of that, but we'll do it in a pack of 16 gigabytes. Let's see what we get. All right, so that's $66, $67. Storage, I would do an NVMe just for speed. and that's just for your main applications and stuff like that. We would do a SSD, and let's go to at least a 512 on that. If you can get the Samsung Evo for that price, that's great. So I would throw that in for right now. Or we can just cut the price. We'll go with this. That's not an NVMe. This one is. You can tell because of the places, the gaps in the connector there. That's M. That's an older one. The NVMe only has one notch in it. So we'll go with that one. Then we'll do another hard drive just for storage. And we'll do that as at least a 2 terabyte one. These are, I mean, exactly the specs of a system that I would build, that I do build. And here's the 2 terabyte Seagate that I use. Now, because of this is just a pure processor, so you need a graphics card, but it doesn't need to be powerful. So I would say, I mean, you could almost go as low as a 710 with that. And I'll just say that right now because you just need it for the display. It's not handling any work. The CPU is more than fast enough for that. And let me do the same case I'm just using right now. The Cougar here, which is $40 for that. Power supply. And actually, if you've never used PC Part Picker, it tells you how much power you need so far. So right now it's saying 185, so I would go with a 500 watt bronze. I'm going to do at least a 500 watt. I like EVGA, me personally, so we'll go with this one, 50 some dollars. I already showed y'all how to get legal Windows copy for under $20, so we wouldn't even be buying the operating system right here. And then we'd do a capture card. Capture card deck link, you can go $195 or throw in an extra 100, get an A10 mini, send it all your connections over USB to the system, and you are more than good to go with this. So that right there, throwing the operating system and stuff like that, you're looking at around $800. So I charge labor for about $150, and me putting it together, $75 for shipping. So there you go. And I'll put a link to this. Well, actually, if you go to kit.co /AJaytheCEO, I have all of these builds that I've done. All the list of parts are there. Man, I'm seeing a whole lot of folks that I know from my hometown in here. So thank y'all for joining. James, I have the A10 Mini Pro. Haven't updated since the audio sync last year. I updated to 8.5.2, and now my SSD will not work. The disk light turns yellow when I press record. Any suggestions? I would reformat it, but also which SSD are you using? I know the Samsung T7s have a known issue that it won't work. I like the SanDisk ones. These are the ones that I use, and it works perfectly fine. Or the older Samsung T5 works. Just need to know that, but I haven't had any issues with that. I would reformat it, make sure it's exFAT format. I would try that out. If you don't, try and roll back to a earlier version and see if it still works. That we can at least process of elimination. Is it the software that caused it or something else? The drive. Josh is in the house. What's going on, Josh? Can you use phones as webcams? Yes, yes you can. Android phones and iPhones have apps to where you can use it that way over the USB cable or over your network. I actually did a couple of them, especially for the iPhone and the iPad. I have that on the channel, so yes, you can. Yeah, and some other people are saying here in the comments that they've done that. Charlene would like to know what camera to get within $500 range to shoot YouTube videos alone. Honestly, I would say the Panasonic V770 is a nice camera. The R800 is good too if you're just doing it for YouTube videos, but you need good lighting. But if you're doing it for YouTube video, you can do the lighting. I mean, that's what I have right here, because if I turn my lighting off, you see this is what I get. But I have lighting, and I'm using that camera. If I cut over here, this is my camcorder, and it does the same thing. But if I turn the lights off here, you know, I think that will work. But that's what I like for those cameras. Yeah, that's what I would think is just for YouTube videos. You could look at a DSLR. I am using the Sony ZV-1. That is an $800 camera, but that's made for vlogging and videos and stuff like that. But if it's in the $500 range, maybe what is it? The G7, excuse me, the Panasonic G7 is a good choice in that price range. So let's cut over here and let's check it out over at BH Photo and see what they're talking about in a price. So that's the Lumix G7. This shoots in 4K, so that's right at, it comes with a lens, comes with a case. You can get it, normal price is $800. It is marked down to $500. Great camera, great camera. Honestly, I was thinking about getting something like this, but if you're just trying to do that, I think that would be a good option for you. All right, so let's do something different. We're going to stay on this camera here, get some use out of that one. Y'all are funny. The man, back to his original question on different angles. I would like to have control over the camera but there will not be someone behind the camera. We only have one person behind that. At that point, I don't trust these cameras that can be controlled over Wi-Fi. I like cameras that can do link control. So any of the Vixia G series, some of the older ones, maybe the G21s, if you can get one of those, they have link support, and they're in the same vein and sensor as the XA11 that you're already using. And you can, at least with a link control, you can convert it over to Ethernet and run it so you can go at really long distance. You can at least turn it on and off and zoom in and out. You can't pan left and right, but I mean, you could do something like that, which I would think would be cool. And then back to your question is, I currently don't have a camera on the band specifically. We just use our G20 that's in the front and just turn it towards the band. And that's what we currently use. Let me see if I can find something here from my church. I haven't done this in quite a while. Why is our stuff saying we're offline? I don't know what is up with that. Yeah, I don't have anything right now on our channel because we've been streaming to Facebook. I just started editing our videos to do more directly from there, and that's what the church post-production on Sunday afternoons is. All right, Anthony. Yeah, I will check my email when you send that to me. Let's see. Seat 767 is saying that started using OBS Ninja for multi-camera setup. I could only get smooth video at the lowest quality setting of 2 phones. Where do you think I could start to help resolve it? I have not had a chance to start using OBS Ninja, but I think it's actually using your network. I don't know what you're using for your network. It is a possible way of isolating it so that to Josh here, with the PC builder you use, how do you know which one is best to use? Honestly, Josh, I am normally just using that just for making it easy to organize. A lot of this stuff, all of the systems that I built are based off of what I'm using right now. So I I use myself as a guinea pig. I've never built a system for anybody using a Ryzen 9, but that's what my main system is right now. I would never, ever, ever throw anybody into using some new equipment that I've never tested. That's why when I have built a computer for somebody and they come back and they have issues, I know because I have replacement parts because I've used the exact same thing. I just use PC Part Picker because I already know what is being used. And honestly, a lot of these stuff, I will buy this myself and test it out. And then when I know it works, now that becomes a list of what I use. Like all the cameras, all the equipment that I have here, I bought it for myself and y'all have used it. So when I suggest it, y'all can come back to my channel and look and see, well, he's been using it for this amount of time, so it must be good. So that's kind of what I use it for, just as a way to test. I use myself to test everything I'm doing. Like I said, folks, if you haven't, let me take a quick commercial break here for a second. Make sure, folks, that if you're not, that you join the Facebook media group. It's stuff like this every single day with people all over the face of the planet that you can ask questions. Find other people that are in your area, because I know I'm not always going to be everywhere. We try to, but hey, we're building a community where we can all help each other. Make sure you're on that. Link is down below, bit.ly/MMMM EFB. I'm sorry, the screen is backwards, so I'm trying to read it here. Check that out. Also, we're close. We're close, folks. We're about 6,000 away from 40,000. We're going to be doing something for another giveaway. Coming up for that. Y'all have voted. We're going to look at doing a camera for a giveaway. Haven't decided yet what camera it's going to be, but it's going to be nice. That's what we're going to do for 40,000. Then 50,000 is going to be serious. Like I said, if you have any questions, make sure you hit me up at questions@ajhomes.com. Please give me 72 hours to respond back to y'all. What else? You know, if you like what we're doing here, folks, we're here every Friday. We're here every Sunday as best as possible on a live stream, and then on every other Sunday we do a roundtable on the Facebook group. But make sure you've hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like, because that notifies YouTube and the algorithm of everything that's going on here, and we can get these videos out in front of other people who may be looking for these questions to help with their media ministry. Really appreciate it. James, back to him, he was saying he was having some issues there. It's the 1 terabyte SanDisk. I would download the SanDisk software, just do a scan on the disk just to see there's no issues with it. That would be the first thing I would say. And he actually said you've already done a reformat. Yeah, I would do a integrity test of the drive just to make sure. And then after that, maybe roll back the software to 8.5 and just see, do you still have that issue? Process of elimination, to be quite honest. And if you have access to another drive, does a drive give you the same issues if you try to use that as well? Blessings would like to know, is 4K a necessity? No, it's not, but it's good to have, because honestly, why spend $500 for a 1080p camera when you can get a 4K camera for the same price? Now, I'm not talking about putting 4K in your sanctuary, streaming at 4K and all that. I think that's silly. I don't think there's a need for that right now, because even if you did 4K, that now is requiring more upload speed. That's more data. You have to have all your cameras, all your equipment supported. You have to have TVs, projectors that support it so people can see it. And then even by uploading it, Facebook, you ain't going to see 4K. YouTube, you might be able to see it, but then the only people who can see it are the people who also have the download speed to support it, have the monitor to support it. It's not necessary yet, I don't believe. That's just me. Sean would like to say, could you post a link to that, to where you can get that? Give me a second and I will put that link in the comments here. And if you check out my my video on it, I go over it as well too. The link has changed they actually changed it to the one that I have in the description, in the comments here. Thank you, Josh. You know, like I'm trying to up my production quality here. Where did I find that camera? I got that camera for B&H Photo, and I will put a link there. I normally get all of my stuff from there because they're close to me. They're in New Jersey, New York, so it doesn't take very long for them to get to me if I order something. I also have a link for that in the description for you. I know this has nothing to do with blessings as a question here. I know this has nothing to do with church media, but I see PS4 controllers in the background. Do you think you'll buy the PS5? I want to get a PS5, but honestly, I don't play as much. Normally, I'll turn my PlayStation on with the intention to play, and then I just stays on because I never get a chance to play it. And I have the PS4 Pro, and that thing sounds like a jet engine when I try and play certain games. I've opened it up, put different thermal compound on it, cleaned it out, and it's still loud. So most of the time when I play, I actually have to put headphones on because it's so loud. But I don't get a chance to play as much as I normally used to. It's just not interesting to me anymore. Most of the time, I spend most of my time doing this and helping y'all, which is actually more fun than I used to have with doing games. And I'm just being legit. That's not that's the YouTube talk. No, I really enjoy what I do here, and this is more fun than me sitting down playing games. Let's see. Steven, hello. Can you get a motorized mount to do pan and tilt? Yes, I actually have one. That's how we did our DIY one at our church with our Canon G20s. I used to have this memorized, but it's been so long, so I don't remember it off the top of my head. But we used ones from Servo City. And where is it at? I think Motion. It was a kit that we got. Oh, maybe I should click on kits. Yeah, pan tilt kits. And this is actually the one that we use for our cameras at our church. So it sends power and control over a single Ethernet cable that comes from here. Power plugs into this. This is a remote in the media booth. 2 motors to control the speed right there. Sends that over. This is mounted on a custom arm. It was honestly just 2 pieces of steel welded together. It goes to the TV, on the wall. We put our Canon G20 on here, run power, link, and HDMI out through the arm, and then up, and then over SDI, convert over to SDI, and then run it to our media booth. This is what we use. So this controls our left, right, up, down, and then the link control that's connected directly to the Canon camera allows us to turn it on remotely, zoom in and out. And that's what we used. I will put a link to this exact one that we used down here as well. Back to Anthony. Which graphics card would you recommend? I'm thinking about adding one to my system. Well, it's very hard to get graphics cards right now, but then also it depends what are you going to use it for. Are you using it for game? Perfectly fine. I'm doing it for more memory and for ray tracing and stuff like that. But I wouldn't go any lower than a RX 5700 for the AMD side, or a GTX 1660 on the NVIDIA side. But again, it all depends on what you're using it for. Schaefer's, excuse me, is using the master volume slider on the ATEM software the same as using the up and down arrows on the ATEM device? No, it's not. They're considered separate. So like if I cut over here, when I change I have my up and down right now, that is just for that channel of audio. There is not one for the main. the main audio from here. I think that's what you were talking about. Let me know if that I messed that up. Tim wants to know, what are your thoughts on the Mevo Start? At $400, it looks like a good option if you have a decent lighting and close enough. No optical zoom, just digital. It can use NDI and PoE too. Honestly, Mevo is under the Vimeo folks, and to be quite honest, I don't like the Mevo. Now, if it originally you had to use their stuff. It didn't connect to anything. If the Mevo Start now has an option to where you can connect it to OBS and all that other stuff, yeah, I think it's cool. But I think, just like you said, it doesn't have any optical zoom. The way it works is it's 4K, and because 4K is 4 times of 1080p, you can zoom in, and it simulates multiple cameras. I don't know if you would have to manually do that in OBS when you set it up. If you can truly use it with other softwares, yes, I think that's a good start. Me personally, at that price, though, I mean, you throw in an extra $100, you could get like this Lumix G7 that will probably give you 4K and give you better control and future growth with it. But I don't know what everybody's situation is. If I personally, I wouldn't choose it. But again, that's because I was talking about the older Mevos. The new one, I have not had a chance to mess with it, so I kind of want to reserve saying yay or nay because I've never personally used it. Let's see. When you buy the key, will it work if Windows is loaded already? Yes, it will. Because you can install Windows and don't need a license at all. You're just going to have that annoying little watermark at the bottom that says it's not active. It doesn't stop anything. But yeah, yes, you can. It'll work. You can use that. So if you're using Windows Home and you buy a Windows Pro license, it will upgrade you to that. Charlene was also asking, what would I need to mount the camera and be able to see it on a screen to know if it's things are right? You would need an external monitor, something like I have right above me. So you would need a couple of things. First off, if you have some type of camera, you're going into a capture device. So you would have like an external capture device or an ATEM, something like that, which would give you a line in. But if you only had something like this, you would have to split the signal so that it goes to your computer and then it goes to an external monitor that you can see it that way. Or kind of like what I'm doing, I'm going into vMix through a capture device, and then I have vMix output it to another monitor that's right here that y'all can't see. When I talked about my teleprompter, that's what I'm looking at so that I can see what's going on live. You would need something like that. And I really don't use this as much right now. This is more meant for when I take the Blackmagic out in the field and I want to see what's going on. Yeah. Good morning. We normally start around between 11 and 11:30. I actually started today at I planned at 11:15, but I started at 11:08 because we had a lot of people talking. So I'm normally around between 11 and noon there. Timothy here. Hello. I am running a USB A/B printer cable from my digital console. It's plugged into the iMac as an audio source to choose in OBS. My question is this. Do I copy and paste the inputs to each scene in order to hear when I switch from scene to scene? Yes, you could do it that way, or you could use it as your main audio in the settings of OBS, but you would have to be careful because then you can't control it separately. The way I do it at our church is I only copy and paste the audio input on the scenes I want that audio to be done on. So like, for example, let me remote into our live streaming system at church, and I will show you how that works. So here's our system, and for those asking, this is Chrome Remote Desktop. Did a video on that. People asked about how do I connect to our computers here. So here, if I open up OBS, scoot this over here. As you can see right now, here's our starting soon. We have no audio except for the intro. That's the only audio that's coming into this channel. If I go to streaming, now we have the deck link. That is where we're bringing in our audio and video. It's only on streaming. It's only on streaming and giving. And I need to get rid of the ATEM. That's when our ATEM was down and I had to bring my ATEM in to run that. So that's the only source that's coming in when we're doing offering. Well, that's wrong. Offering, we use the ATEM. And be right back, we don't, because we don't want any audio coming in here. Why is all this stuff? It looks like somebody has been messing with stuff on here. Anyway, so normally all of this wouldn't be here, so we only bring in audio that we want for that scene. Now, like I said, if I wanted to bring audio everywhere, you would go to settings, do audio, and then enable this wherever. So that's like the VB audio cable that we were talking about before earlier. So if I happen to do line in right here and I say okay, now this audio is going to be here no matter where I go. And that's not, it depends on your workflow. I wouldn't want to do this because I want to isolate where sound would come in. So yes, copy and paste it on the scenes that you only want audio, or if you want them across the board, you can just map it here. But me personally, I disable all of those so I have complete control of where the sound is going at any point in time in our stream. Let's see. Francisco, you mentioned you could get Windows OS at minimal cost. Can you tell me which video tells you how to do that? Yes, it would be. Give me a second so I can look it up here. That video, come on now, would be this one. How to get Windows 10 for under $20. I think I updated the link in here. If I didn't, I need to the one that we talked about. And actually, let me do that now. I'm going to update the link here so that y'all could get to that. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Do a new link to that for y'all. And then we should be good to go. I hope. Give me a second. Sorry, folks. I'm just updating the link in the video so that y'all can use that. All right. So that's been updated there. So that's good to go. Thank you, Chuck, for that info. So yes, they finally did it to where you can use it as a USB cam. Then if that's the case, then go for it. Would like to know if I can set up more than one scheduled stream with the same stream key. Yes, you can. That's what these are. The stream key that I'm using for this is the exact same one that I do every single Friday as well as Sunday. It's the same stream key. You just can't stream them, have them set up at the exact same time. But yes, so like I did this stream was at 11 o'clock, 11:15, and I have another one at 3 o'clock on Sunday. Yes, that will work. I can do another stream at 1 o'clock with the same key. 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't matter. Yes, you can do that. Yes, that is the manufacturer's price, retail pricing for the A10 Mini. Yes, don't pay $1 more than that. That's how much Blackmagic says it costs. Rodney, I streamed a Bible marathon program that lasted 98 hours. I can't see the recording now. What did I do wrong? It's probably just encoding, to be quite honest. That's going to take a while to come through. Make sure you actually stopped it as well, too. I've made that mistake, too, that I didn't have YouTube or whatever platform at auto stop, and it's going to take so it still was rendering all that time thinking you were streaming. Make sure you stop it, and then it will start encoding that and then go from there. DHB, does splitting the HDMI signal degrade the image any? It all depends on your splitter. For the most part, no. You know, you start doing something crazy, then yes. You try splitting it 50 times and stuff like that. But most of the time, the splitters that I'm using are powered, so it amplifies it at the same time. So no, it doesn't degrade the image at all. And I can realize I need to shave. My dad's horseshoe is showing up. Yes, capture device, there's ones that I did. There's a $20 one that you can get that I did a review on. A lot of people have used that, and they've had good success with that one. You have the HD60, Elgato HD60. You have, I actually think I have a link on my kit.co with a bunch of stuff like that. Most of the hardware and things that I suggest are there. Give me a second just to verify that. So that is kit.co/AJaytheCEO. And my computer bills, all this other stuff are there. There's my recent system I'm using right now for video editing. I thought I had some capture devices on here. If not, I would have to go through and add them. I really thought I did. Yeah, I had to come back and do that then. Yeah, I have a list of ones. I mean, well, actually, I have a video that I haven't made yet. I'm going to try and do it today, talking about what we collaborated on our Facebook group and made a survival guide of things that we think every media ministry should have for 2021. I haven't got a chance to release that yet, but I do have that goes through that information. So maybe I can get it done before I pick my daughter up from school. If not, I will try and get it at least by Monday out to cover that. In my OBS Studio screen, in OBS Studio, the studio screen isn't showing on my screen, yet my streaming is recording. Let me, missing that a little bit, but let me see what you could do. You could always reset the interface. And how you would do that is you come over here and go to View. And where was it? It was one of these. Oh, yeah, there you go. Go into View, Docs, and then Reset User Interface, UI, and that should recalibrate everything as things got knocked out of whack or something like that. I would try that first. Alrighty. That's an open-ended question here, is would I recommend the A10 Mini Pro or a desktop? It all depends on their workflow. If it's a budget issue, I would go with the A10 Mini Pro, because you're talking about that $600, a decent streaming system. can only have one input going into it from a desktop. So you go with an ATEM Mini, you can pair that together so you have the functionality of multiple capture devices and a computer that gives you more flexibility. It all depends on the budget. And the amount of space that's available. I've suggested both. It all depends. I use Creative Cloud only because it was cheaper for me to do that for Photoshop and After Effects than buying them individually. But I do not use Premiere. I do not use any of the other services that they have. But, you know, it's hard to say, is it worth it? It depends on if you use it a lot. I use After Effects a lot and then use Photoshop a lot, and because I've been using Photoshop for years for what I do. So I'd rather pay $29 for the Creative Cloud. No, I pay $19.99 for that, for the whole thing, compared to it was $29 buying them separately. So, but I use it pretty much every day. Can I use a laptop webcam through the ATEM Mini with an HDMI? Yes and no. Yes, you can. You would use the webcam on your laptop, make sure it goes full screen, which would then run an HDMI cable out of your laptop, which is broadcasting the full screen of your laptop into the ATEM Mini. But I mean, that's overkill at that point. So no, not directly, without really rigging it like that for it to work. All right. Yes, I actually do. Yes, I do. I build them for mainly all the computers at my church. I build. I've built the ones for my sister's church, and maybe going for about like 35 churches at this point right now. I had been building computers for a while, but the way I build them are specifically for media ministry purposes. So yes, if you needed something like that, hit me up in the email, and we can talk if you need something like that. What is your recommended external encoder? The ATEM Mini Pro, because all the other encoders cost more than that. So that's what I would use. Yeah, honestly, yeah, the Mac, if you're going to do it, that's where I would say some of the other ones. Most of the other ones I've seen, or the YOLO box if you want that, but it depends on how many inputs you're doing. At this point, I'm really just a fan of the ATEM line, not because they sponsor me or nothing. I wish they would all the time. I recommend their stuff. I just like it because it just works in our stuff. So, hey. Hello, M&S Mobile Notary. I don't know, always stumble over saying y'all's name. I use DaVinci Resolve for my videos, for editing, for church, for these videos on my channel, for client work, everything. And it's completely free, but the paid version came with my camera. But I've been using the free version for years. A. Watson, what do I need to split the Blackmagic Studio from the OBS recording? I need a better understanding of what you're saying. Yes, the Elgato HD60 goes for that price. But like I said, I would try one of these $20 HDMI capture devices. Test that out first. I mean, it's $20. So really straightforward there. I haven't even noticed how long. We've been going for an hour and a half, folks. I didn't even notice what time it is. See, we've been having so much fun. So I'm going to shut it down because I got to send this computer out, ship it out to a church that we fixed. I need to get some food here so that my daughter has something to eat when she's here. And I am looking at, I got to head up to the store before I got to do all the daddy duties and responsibilities and stuff like that. I had choir rehearsal yesterday, and we're going to be playing Sunday and all that other fun stuff. But thank y'all so much for being on here with me. I hope y'all have a great day. And if no one else ever told you, I appreciate you for all the work that you're doing, because it takes a very special person to try and research how to do all this stuff to help keep moving our ministries forward and reach, because the message needs to be heard. The true message needs to be heard, so that people get a true understanding of what this thing is really all about and how we need to work together. And division has nothing to do with let me leave that alone. Anyway, love y'all, folks. Thank y'all so much. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and share this video with other people, other churches, other ministries, so we can help all of us, because if one of us wins, we all win. We can all move forward. That's what it's all about. We don't compete. We complement and lift up each other. That's what it's all about. Thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure you join the Facebook group where stuff like this goes on 24/7 all over the place of the planet. We got over 2,000 people, and we're going to keep moving and moving and moving. This is a movement, folks, to where all of us are moving together. Moving together. So thank y'all so much, folks. Really appreciate it. Y'all have a great day, and we will be catching y'all in the next video. Later.